what has transpired in David's life in 1 Samuel 17, especially with this weekend's Mayhem Faith posts, is something we can continue to learn so much from. So first, in verse 26, David asks the question of the giant, who is this? I mean, specifically, he says, who is this pagan Philistine? And in other translations, David says, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? So what's so significant to understand about his question is what really continues to be so significant about David's heart. See, while everyone else was frozen by the giant's size, David was focused on the giant disadvantage. See, what David knew about the Philistines is what caused him to not call out their front man by his size, but by his condition. I mean, how often does our opponent do that to us, right? That one time you failed becomes this voice that we're a failure. That one time we lost is the voice that says we're a loser. The Apostle Paul reminds us, though, in Colossians chapter 1, beginning in verse 13, that he, God, has rescued us from this kingdom, right? This little k kingdom of darkness, and transferred us into the big K kingdom of his dear son, Jesus, right? Who purchased our freedom and forgave our sins. So when David called the giant a pagan or uncircumcised, it's a call out to what David saw and affirms what he knew, that the Philistines, and specifically their front man, didn't walk with the Lord, and thus were at a severe disadvantage. But what if the opposition you face isn't even the opponent you've been called to confront? See, in David's case, we can begin reading then second in verse 28 that opposition would come from those closest to him, his own family. But what David did was only allow them to be a momentary distraction from what he was called to. See, don't miss that word, momentary. See, oftentimes, man, we hear God call us into the storm. We can see the opportunity, but we choose to focus more on the distractions that are there to serve as an interruption. They're there to interrupt our progress towards calling. So listen, turn away from that which is challenging the authenticity of your calling and keep moving forward with confidence in your purpose.